Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Business Connected Lunch and Learn webinar. My name is Amy. I'm a Program Manager at Enterprise Nation, and I'm very happy to welcome you here today. So for those of you who are joining an Enterprise Nation Lunch and Learn for the first time, we are a vibrant community of small businesses and business advisors that exist to shortcut your route to trusted business support. So today's session is part of Business Connected. We've partnered with Vodafone Business to equip 800,000 small businesses over 3 years with various different digital skills. So the program's also supported by our partners Dropbox and JP Morgan. So for more information, do visit the Business Connected Hub. I'll be dropping the link in the chat during today's webinar. I'm very pleased to now introduce our speaker, James Farnfield. So he'll be showing you how to leverage your LinkedIn profile to build awareness, authority, and also drive revenue from your LinkedIn audience. So if you have any questions, we'll be doing a Q&A at the end. So drop any questions you have in the Q&A chat function, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end of the session. But it'd be great if everyone could share in the chat a little introduction to themselves and their business. This webinar is also going to be recorded, so we'll be sharing a follow-up email to everyone later today, which will have the recording and further resources. But I'll now hand over to you, James.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Hello, everyone. Good to see you here on lovely Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to run you through a deck that I do quite often for a number of different workshops. They're normally a bit longer than 25 minutes that I want to do today. And I'll include a bit of content predictions in there as well, which I made at the start of the year. So you can hold me accountable at the end of the year if they come true. So to start with an introduction, despite common misconception of me posting quite frequently on LinkedIn, I actually don't really like talking about myself too much. So a little bit about myself, kind of serial entrepreneur. I've been building businesses since I was 16, everything from web design to digital product studio, which I ran for 3 years before leaving that behind me last year and starting up Shade Content, which is what I do today. Working with B2B scale up and enterprise companies, typically their senior leadership team, either to work with them on a workshop basis, right the way through to the retainer packages that we have here at Shade Content. So that's enough about me talking about myself. 30 seconds is already way too long. So quick interactivity. There's a couple of interactivity pieces during this workshop and then a Q&A at the end. So if you wouldn't mind in the chat, putting where does LinkedIn rank for your business for these acquisition channels. So there's 9 of them here, just quick 1, 2, 3 of them. And I'll give you sort of 30 seconds to put in the chat where for your business or potentially your future business, where do these rank in priority for your business for acquisition channels? Just a 1, 2, 3, and I'll see them come through on the chat. So yeah, if you want to put sort of 1 paid ads, 2 marketplaces, 3 cold calling, or along those lines, that'd be great. And I can have a little look as they come through. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Jacqueline. Thanks, Sally. Lovely. Awesome. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Marcella. Thanks, Nicole. Awesome. Lots of own networks, lots of partnerships, lots of word of mouth. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Right, so this is the correct order. Okay, I'm only joking. There's no correct order, but this is the order for me. And I'll sort of dig into a bit why that is. So LinkedIn is super important for B2B businesses and B2C, but I'll start with B2B, sorry. So B2B is where professionals go onto their social media platform, go onto their mobiles, go onto their desktops, and they go onto it with a professional mindset. So over 1 billion users now on LinkedIn. It's not quite the TikTok or Instagram, right, where you're going to go thumb scrolling and you're looking for entertainment, although that is a great way to view LinkedIn, because if you can make your content entertaining, then of course that will give you great success. Loads of statistics here, and they're not from sort of wishy-washy sources either. We have Harvard Business Review, Hootsuite, a couple of other social media platforms here producing these statistics. So 44% of a company's market value can be attributed to a CEO's reputation. And also being socially active on social media just gives that trust and credibility. Now, trust is the key word for 2024. Definitely is for me. And authenticity is a really big play for all CEOs. B2C, not just for B2B, but for B2C. Investors, talent, being socially active on social media, especially LinkedIn, to acquire talent increases your chances by 77%, according to Harvard Business Review. I think what's really interesting here is if you look at sort of company A and company B, right? So two exact same roles, exact same job descriptions. Company A has a hiring manager with no profile, maybe an outdated photo, doesn't really post much. And company B has a hiring manager and a CEO that's posting very regular content, talking about their mission, their vision, their values frequently. If a high quality talent, that might be you, that might be somebody else, is looking to join company A or company B, which company are they going to be absolutely pumped, excited to join? It's going to be company B once they get that attraction, that trust build with that CEO and hiring manager who is posting frequently, because you already feel like you're invested in their mission when they are posting online. And that goes the same with investment as well. So investors in 2024 very frequently are looking to social media because they're effectively putting your own reputation on the line. And if you're not willing to do that on social media, where you can attract leads, you can attract prospective clients, new talent, then it'd be no different to you asking them for their money, but you're maybe working on it as a complete side hustle, or you're not willing to put your own money in there. So it's really key for investment as well. Here are my content predictions. I think a lot of these, to be honest with you, are pretty clear and probably no surprise to a number of you. Short form video is coming to LinkedIn. They've already trialing their video feed in the US. That will come to the UK market in the not so distant future. Every single person on this call will be more than familiar with short form video. We are digesting them every single day on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn as well. So that's a really key way to implement a good content strategy, is by looking to video. And authenticity, I think this is really key. So there is a number of AI generated comments, content going out there. I know when I post personally, I get a lot of comments from AI bots, and it's very clear to me, and it doesn't really fill me with much enjoyment to see that come through. So video is a great way to build trust. Doesn't matter how persuasive your copywriting is. There's nothing like what I'm doing with you today, which is putting my face on my opinions, in front of my opinions. And that's the best way to build trust. So I think those two are really aligned really well. The last two are a bit more out there. So account-based marketing. No longer can you send 10,000 emails in a single sequence to a number of your different prospects and get the same returns, especially with a number of ways that you can focus in your content strategy and also your advertising strategy as well, to focus on a handful of select businesses. This is the way you're going to get them over the line, rather than going for that much more mass market sort of spray and play tactics. And of course, influencers. This is so clear. Stephen Bartlett, for example, partnering with Vodafone, one of the partners of this Lunch and Learn series, and a number of others. You see his face a lot because he has built the trust in the space now, and a lot of businesses are looking to these B2B influencers. And that goes right down to a much more micro-influencer state. So those that maybe have even 10%, 1% of the following that Mr. Bartlett has. And we've seen this 10 years ago with the likes of Kim Kardashian in the B2C market, absolutely skyrocketing the sales of a shoe brand. We'll start to see that in the B2B space as well, with the boost of maybe a sales enablement platform or an accounting platform, whatever that may look like. So watch this space with that, but I think you'll see more and more promoted material on LinkedIn. So how to create your content strategy for business. I really want everyone to come away with some actionable tips today. So for me, there are 6 goals and objectives of your content. lead generation right through fundraising. For me, whenever I work with clients, whenever I look at my own content, I look to utilize only two of these goals and objectives. I think if you're looking to use more than that, then you may struggle to have focused content. Once you understand your goals and objectives and you've made that decision, you want to go to a long form piece of content. This could be a blog series. Maybe you enjoy putting those fingers to the keyboard and writing 800 to 1,000 words and putting it on your blog. It might be putting yourself on a podcast, maybe doing an educational video. The asterisks that you see here that are just sort of saying that these are going to take slightly longer to produce. But once you take that long form piece of content, let's say it is a blog post, you then can cut those into short form content for your LinkedIn. So let's say it's 1,000 word blog. You can then put that into an image or an infographic for your LinkedIn, text piece, or maybe you then go and produce a video, you talking through that blog, your opinions, etc. And then what the outcome is, whatever content you produce needs to have an outcome. You're effectively putting content, you've pressed post, you've pressed publish, which, to be honest with you, is half the battle. That getting over that fear, over that hurdle of putting your content out into the world is a challenge, and it's something which I completely understand for anyone who hasn't got there yet but knows that they have to get there. Once you put that piece of content out in the world, what is the outcome that you want to achieve? So maybe it's they're subscribing to a newsletter. Maybe it's to get them to go to your website to book a demo with you. Maybe it's to get onto that webinar series that you are on. For example, like me today with Enterprise Nation, over the last month, I've been promoting this and trying to get people to go through to sign up for this webinar. So what is it that I want to achieve from my content? And don't be afraid to be very clear and explicit with your content and what you want them to achieve, whether that be messaging you directly or signing up for your newsletter. At the end of the day, if you don't tell your audience what you want them to do and what outcome you want them to produce for you, how are they going to know what to do? So, time to create content for your business. This is how we implement our Shake system with all of our clients, working with a number of B2B businesses over the past year, many of which are doing sort of 20 plus million ARR, very busy CEOs and their sort of marketing and growth teams, which really means that our systems have to be absolutely on point to ensure that we are taking up as little time of theirs and producing the best content with them and with their teams as possible. So the first thing you need to do is find your ICP, so your ideal customer profile or persona, depending on your opinion on how you want to define that. So to define that, look at the case studies that your business has already produced. Interview your team, interview if it's just yourself or you and a co-founder, discuss with each other. Do the specific session on how to define that ICP. Once you've done that, you need to confirm it. Go out into the market, find your 10 perfect customers and ask them, like, if they are looking for your solution, if they are looking for your service, whether that be a B2C product, like a fashion brand, right the way through to a B2B SaaS product, and you're going after accountants or head of growth or head of sales. And then, of course, where you're trying to lead them to with a lead magnet. So the setup. This is where I really want everyone to focus on what they can take away from today. These are going to be your really actionable steps. So how to optimize your profile on LinkedIn. Maybe you've been thinking over the past 6 weeks, gosh, I really need to get started with my content, but my profile looks a bit outdated. Maybe you're not happy with it. And that's the thing, you want to be proud of what you push out into the world. Defining a content roadmap, finding your hero topic, and overarching your content pillars. Now, your content pillars are typically 3 to 5 trends, topics, areas that you want to focus on. So for myself, this could be B2B marketing strategy, content strategy, content marketing. Just 3 ideas, because that's where my service offering is. It's what my B2B buyers care about. For you, of course, that will be different. So how we define your content pillars. Now, this does not matter if you are a B2C brand looking at using LinkedIn for maybe partnerships or finding investment, looking for advisors, right the way through to a B2B brand looking at lead generation and, of course, fundraising, etc. too. So go through these 3 steps. what is it that your service offering off? What is your service or your product? What does it offer? Like, look at the top, super top level. So for me, content, copywriting, video production, strategy, marketing. But then who's that for? Make it a bit niche. So for me, it's content for founders, content for CEOs, content for busy CEOs. Really start to define that. And this is kind of where your messaging for your website may be, but across the landscape of social media. And then what makes you stand out? Frankly, there's not enough female founders out there with the amount of support that many female founders face. We want to shout loudly and proudly about that. So that may make you stand out, right the way through to being a solopreneur, right the way through to being an agency owner with decades of experience. Doesn't matter what makes you stand out and what you want to leverage that, and really try and put that into your content pillars. Then maybe try and define it by hashtags. Just an idea. This is something which we play with. So if you are saying signing off an Instagram post, which I'm sure everyone here has done at some point in their life, whether it be that plate of food that they had in Greece, right the way through to a beautiful photo of their family. Think about that from a LinkedIn perspective. What are your 3, 4, 5 sort of hashtags that you might put on that introduction post or promotion of your product or service or offering? Then make that a bit minutiae. So it goes from marketing to marketing agency, content to content marketing, entrepreneur to solopreneur, software to B2B SaaS, agency life to whatever that may be. So that's how you define your content pillars. We want to go as niche as possible. Own your space, own your hashtag. Profile optimization. At the end of the day, every piece of content you produce, you're getting someone to click through to your profile. So this needs to be absolutely on point. The first thing that they'll see is that profile cover image, your name, etc. And then you want them to click through maybe down to your about section and click through to direct message you to your website, etc. But also remember, before they've got to that point, what is that one thing that you see when you're scrolling your LinkedIn? It's that headline. So for me, it might be CEO at Shake Content, helping B2B founders with their LinkedIn content strategy. For you, it might be something different. So make sure that headline's really clear, but more so than anything else, make it abundantly clear what action you want someone to take once they land on your profile. Because once they get to your LinkedIn profile, this will be the first touch point that they may ever have with your brand. And first impressions do matter. Content roadmap. This may look a bit complicated, but actually I'm trying to say is don't overcomplicate a content roadmap. This is a Google Sheets with the day and the date of the month, and just my distribution channels from website to LinkedIn. It was Twitter at the time when this screenshot was taken, and just really showcasing where I can produce my content through time. Maybe you just want to focus on just LinkedIn. So ignore sort of columns 1, 2, and 5 and 6. Get rid of those and just focus on LinkedIn. Really nice way, smooth way of keeping yourself accountable to what content goes out at what time. Last but not least, phase 3, the Shake system. So once you start creating content, you want to distribute that. That might not just be on LinkedIn. It might be YouTube, maybe you're doing a podcast, might be Spotify, Instagram, TikToks, etc. You then want to analyze, let's say you've been posting twice a week, 3 times a week for a month. Have a look at the data. Your job is not done. You can repurpose. Say you've posted 20 times across the last month or 2. Which posts have performed the 10 best? Take those, and maybe they were a video before, maybe they were just text before. Turn them into an image, a carousel. 85% of engagement between post to post is unique. So however many times you think that an audience member has seen your content, they probably haven't. And I encourage everyone to add me on LinkedIn after this session or during this session if you have the time. And I post every single working day of the week. Now, I guarantee you in 14 days' time, you can go back to me and you will not have seen 10 to 12 of my posts. You'll probably have seen somewhere between 4 and 5, which means I could have been sharing the same message every other day and you wouldn't have got bored of that. You wouldn't have my message wouldn't have stagnated. It actually would be giving myself more chances to get in front of the audience that matters. Okay, how do I ideate 20 topics in 2 minutes? So I would love for you just in 2 quick sentences to tell me what you're working on right now and what you previously have worked on. So this is anyone in the chat here. And so I know appreciate a number of you have already put this in, but if you just want to put what you're currently working on in 1 to 2 sentences and what you previously worked on. So for me, this might be I'm currently working on Shape Content, a B2B LinkedIn content agency. I've previously ran a digital product studio called Airbyte for 3 years before moving on to Shape Content. If would love to see a few come up in the chat here, and then we'll go from there. And I'll probably pick the first 1 or 2 just because we're time sensitive. Awesome, loads coming in. All right, I'm just going to pick one that has just come up because I'm sensitive of time. So Sally here says, currently working on coaching and facilitating business for engineering. Just left Rolls-Royce after 18 years in an engineering leadership position. So questions for Sally. You know a little bit about her. Everyone, absolutely go for it. Ask her any questions right now about absolutely anything. About her time at Rolls-Royce, what she's working on. Just shove questions into the chat right now. Go for it. So just a reminder there, Sally says, currently working on coaching and facilitating business for engineering. Just left Rolls-Royce after 18 years in engineering leadership. Oh, good question, Jacqueline. Love it. Very topical. Look at this. Awesome questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for putting your questions in the chat. So I appreciate we've got a good number of people on this workshop today. That does give us a bit of a cheat sheet to getting a load of great questions. But some of these are superb. This is how you ideate great topics within a very short period of time. You know, what's the Brexit impact on Rolls-Royce? How is AI used at Rolls-Royce? Who's your perfect customer? Are you aiming your content at a specific age bracket? What do you do now? What you couldn't do at Rolls-Royce? Great question. I'm sure there's many things, right? That's fantastic. So this is such an easy way on how to ideate topics for your content. At the end of the day, a lot of people get writer's block. They struggle to come up with ideas. There's so many different ways you can come up with content, post topics, right? And for me, I split these into 3 things. Internal, so have a look at your past life. Rolls-Royce in this instance, you know, what are the top 3 things that I've learned in my career at Rolls-Royce? What are the 3 things that I've seen there's so much difference between a large organization like Rolls versus my entrepreneurship life like now. External, get on a workshop and get picked on and get these questions asked to you. You know, ask others in your industry, ask your team. One of my favorite questions that I get is, who should I ask in my team? I say, find the youngest, the most underpaid person in your organization and ask them, because I guarantee you they'll ask the best questions. Find that intern. Tools, look, AI is a great tool. Get onto ChatGPT. Go to forums where people might be relevant to your industry. It might be a Facebook group, might be Reddit. Go find out what people want to know. This is the best way that you're going to find ways to ideate for topic ideas for your content. Okay, engagement is so important, everyone. So at the end of the day, do not forget, LinkedIn is a social media. So we will really want to be spending the time. 5, 10, 20 minutes is better than no minutes. Try to do 20 minutes a day and engage with those on LinkedIn. I personally do these in 2 10-minute blocks. I obviously make sure that I respond to everyone's comments as quickly as I can. You know, at these two different blocks. I also have 2 different lists. So those that I really want to support in my network, they might be peers, they might be in similar communities than me. But then there's also those I want to get sales from. Quite simply, I want them to be my clients, and they are prospective clients of mine. And I'm going to be really focusing on these 2 lists for sort of my engagement every single day. You can save those with the bell on LinkedIn. You can add them to a list. I've seen people add them to a bookmark list. Sales Navigator if you pay for that. So many different ways of doing this. I'm going to rush through this. How to create your own leads from LinkedIn. The most important thing is here with your LinkedIn content strategy is that you are picking up on triggers, whether someone's viewed your content, engaged with your content, viewed your profile, viewed your company page profile. They are the signals that you really want to be focusing on to engage with them, to then ask them that question: are you interested in my service or offering? Can I support you? Can I help you? And really just trying to drive traffic to the right place. As I mentioned, if you're posting 5 times a week, you need to be once or twice a week saying, this is what I do, this is how I can help, this is what I've done before. Direct message me, go to my website, sign up. Do not be afraid to ask your audience, to tell your audience where to go, which will generate you sales. Because at the end of the day, if you're not telling them where to go, if you're not asking them to drop you a direct message because you can help them with coaching in the engineering space, how are they going to know to do that? They're just going to take your content, they're going to take the value you just added, and then they're going to walk away with it. Set your expectation though, everyone. It does take 12 to 18 months for posting very regularly to see true traction, but it's the ultimate channel because you will get those inbound leads. You're not going to be paying for that unless you're using an agency like Shake. So you're going to see that over time. So set your expectations. Don't beat yourself up if it's not working after a month or two. It takes 6 to 12 months at the bare minimum, but I would set your expectation of 12 to 18 months. Good process. I've tried my best to give you as quick a process today, just to set yourself up for success. But setting yourself up with a good process, putting out your time blocks, that's going to be your savior to getting true traction on LinkedIn. And at the end of the day, look, if you're looking for ROI within the next couple of months, I would suggest putting some money behind paid ads or looking at different revenue opportunities, because you're probably not going to get that from LinkedIn content or your content strategy. No different to an SEO or an organic strategy there. So set your expectations well, set yourself up for success with a great process and a great strategy, and you'll have every opportunity to succeed. What we do, Shake Content, so we effectively help you do all of that. So we help you with your content strategy, help you with everything from the overarching strategy, from webinar, podcast, video production. We do all of that, take all of that out to the point where the people that we work with, the clients that we work with, CEOs, senior leadership, they just spend an hour with us once a month, and then the post approvals on a weekly basis, which allows them the time to go back and run their business. And we also do everything from LinkedIn ads as well to putting the video interviews and podcasts on different distribution channels like YouTube and Spotify. So my thank yous for everyone who's shown up today. 10% off all Shake packages if you quote EN0608. Also, haven't forgotten, I will put the link in the chat very shortly to sign up for the type form for a completely free 1-hour session with me. I'm going to offer 5 of these to everyone in this room, which we can go through all of your questions and chat everything LinkedIn strategy for your business. So thank you everyone so much. I'm going to stop sharing now and hand back over to Amy for any questions if we've still got time.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much, James. So I'll just dive straight into some of the questions, but that webinar was amazing and really helpful, and you can see lots of great feedback already. First question is, I've been posting short form videos and text on LinkedIn 2 to 3 times per week for 3 months, but the impressions for my posts rarely exceed 1,000. Any ideas on how I can increase the impressions?
Oh, what a beautiful question. Yes. Look, I think at the end of the day, we need to consider what matters. I understand if you once upon a time had greater impressions that you are going to want to get them back to where they are. The LinkedIn algorithm does fluctuate. You will see from time to time, 2 years ago, my nonsense content, I'll be honest with you, was creating tens of thousands of impressions. And now my really highly directed content is not receiving the same. So my 2 suggestions here would be, 1, to care about what matters. Are you getting business conversations? So is your content driving traffic to the right place? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you get 10 impressions or 10,000. What matters is sales conversations, if that's what you're looking for, maybe fundraising conversations, depending on what your objectives are. The second one is variety. are your 3 to 5 posts the same format, the same style? If the answer is yes, mix it up. Look at infographics, look at carousels. Maybe you might not feel comfortable doing so, but get in front of the camera, record yourself. And if you are a bit unsure about video, do exactly what we're doing today with a friend, a colleague, a partner, and just ask them to ask you questions, any questions at all. Will produce great content. And then, of course, you can always edit it, you can always cut it.
Perfect. Thanks so much, James. Someone else has said that they create short comedy films and want to monetize this. Do you recommend LinkedIn for this or not?
Oh, another great question. Comedy is severely lacking on LinkedIn. I think there's an absolute place for it, depending on what the comedy topics are about. At the end of the day, if it's sort of comical content around a service or offering that you can do, I think it's a great space. However, if you are a stand-up comedian by trade and you're trying to drive traffic to sort of your gigs, then I would probably suggest that it's probably not the space for you. So it kind of depends what your service or offering is there. But if anyone here at all can bring in any sort of comedy or entertainment into the LinkedIn content space, I'm all for it. Add me and I'll support you because, look, I think a lot of the content is pretty dry on LinkedIn because at the end of the day, for a number of people, it is very much orientated towards the corporate and sort of more B2B arena, which can be quite dry.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. Do you think LinkedIn Premium is needed?
It's a good question. It's not needed. At the end of the day, good content will come to the surface. There's no doubt about that. However, like many businesses, LinkedIn do promote you paying them in the sense of there is potential, according to LinkedIn, benefits of having LinkedIn Premium, such as wider reach, more opportunity to connect with more people. Likewise, you have things like Sales Navigator, which will allow you to have more highly focused sort of criteria when you're trying to add people in sales prospecting. So personally, I definitely think it's worth it, but it won't necessarily be essential to you. If you can't afford it right now, just focus on high quality, good content that you're proud of. But if you can afford it, and you want to go all in on your content strategy, I would highly recommend it, yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, time for one final question, and this may be a question you may be able to help with. So someone is saying that they have lots of content ideas, but they're very busy working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Any advice on how someone can find the time and still be productive to create kind of various forms of content to consistently post on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you're working a 9 to 5 and you're looking at LinkedIn content. I think that's a great mindset to have. I think the first one is set your expectations. If you are a busy individual, you obviously don't have the time to put your whole heart into LinkedIn content. So set your expectations as sort of 2 to 3 posts a week, sort of arena. And after that, it's a good process. So you really need to look at spending like time blocks to ideate. And I would recommend spending about an hour a month to ideate, like we did with Sally earlier. Then you want to do about 2 times 1 hours to create that content and put it into sort of format that is suitable for you to put onto LinkedIn, and then 3 times 1 hours to execute that content, and that's sort of press publish, put it into that final editorial piece that you're happy with, and push go. But I think set your expectations, try and time block as best as you can, and start with long form as well, right? If you're a really talented blog writer, or that's just where you're most comfortable with, or maybe you're more maybe you're in a sales role and video is great for you, sit down, record for an hour, and then your next time block you can look at editing that video. It will help you out massively.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, James. That was really insightful. And thank you to everyone who has joined us on today's webinar. I hope you found it useful. I have shared a link in the chat for you to be able to share your feedback. We'll be sharing the recording and further resources in an email this afternoon as well, so you can watch this again. But thank you again so much to James for sharing all of your LinkedIn wisdom with us today. And I hope everyone has a lovely afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.